Switch with her backpack. Okay, so we're starting with lesson 2.1. We're gonna do, we have about 35 minutes. So I'll do 20 minutes of this. Set a timer for 20 minutes. All right, I'll do 20 minutes on 2.1, and then we'll do the rest on 2.2. Is this 2.1? Oh, that's 2.2. Okay. All right, what is your first question on 2.1? Somebody raise your hand. Jocelyn.
Use the slope.
No, you have to tell me the number.
5.
Number 5. So we're all looking at number 5. Your equation might be different than this one, but the process will be the same. So you're taking notes so that when we figure out this one together, you can do yours on your own. Now, if I can, for the person who is asking the question, if I can use your numbers, I will. So like, if it gives you a question where it like already has the line, I can't use your line because I can't draw what you have. But something like this, you can tell me what your equation says and I'll graph that one, okay? What does it say?
Y equals 5 over 4, x minus 5.
So this is in slope-intercept form. What two very important things does slope-intercept form give you?
Oh, the slope and the y-intercept?
Yes, the slope and the y-intercept. With those two things, can you graph a line?
Yes.
Absolutely. Which one should you start with? Where would your starting point be?
The y-intercept?
The y-intercept. Jocelyn, are you picking up on this?
The y-intercept.
Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Okay, so we've got slope-intercept form. You good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thought you were leaving. She's like, yeah, I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, she's like, this is too much, I'm out of here. Okay, so we have our slope. Jocelyn, do you know that the slope is here, right? It's right next to x, okay? And then this is your y-intercept, right? And just like Bo said, our starting point is going to be our y-intercept. How do we know where to graph it?
Oh.
I want Jocelyn just because I want to help her do this one. It's a -5. Where do we put a -5? Does it matter, or can I find anywhere where there's a -5? Yeah, which -5 though? I see 2. I see a -5
The
on.
bottom one is negative.
Well, hold on, guys. There are 2 -5s. What axis is this -5 on? Good. What axis is this -5 on? Y. Where do you think we should plot the y-intercept? There you go. So I should plot my -5 on the y-axis. Very good.
How do you do that online?
Online, there's a little button that looks like it has 2 points on it. It's your point button.
Oh, I have
You
it.
click on that. It's okay, she's helping her. And then, bada bing, bada boom, you have your first point. To make a line, we only need one more point. But it doesn't give us any points, it gives us the slope. If they're giving us a slope, how can we use this to graph our next point? I'm specifically gonna ask Jocelyn for now because I really wanna get her the wheels turning, okay? So how do we use this to find our next point? I'll give you a hint. We have a starting point. So we're gonna start there, and we're gonna do a little moving. We're gonna do a little rising, and we're gonna do a little running.
Wait, yeah, 5 up and 4 over.
Good. This is rise over run. So the 5 is the rise, so we're gonna rise up 5. The 4 is our run, so we're gonna go to the right. 4, they're both positive, so we're gonna go up and to the right. Positive, positive. So we go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You should be plotting a point at +4, 0. And when you do that with your tool, it automatically connects the dots and makes the line. Are you having trouble using it?
Yeah.
Okay. Does everybody totally understand how to plot a line when you are given
Yes.
the equation in slope-intercept form. The first step is plot your y-intercept on your y-axis. The second step is what, Grayson? Ooh, caution not paying attention.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
The second step is using your slope to do your rise over run. Now, just for fun, what if this was a negative slope? This is not real, this is not anybody's question, but what if we still have this, and what if we have a negative 1/4, let's say? What would we do?
We'd go down 1
Mm-hmm.
and then go to the negative side forward, right?
Okay, you were halfway there, okay?
Fine in that course.
Because if you were telling me to go down 1 and then also go negative on the 4,
Like go
that would be
left,
negative
left,
negative, that would actually be a positive slope. So a negative slope means you go down, your rise goes down, but you still go to the right 4. So you go down 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 would be your next point. The only time you would go to the left when you're running is if you could write this as a positive 1 over a negative
That's
4.
what I do, it makes more sense to me.
Totally fine. If you like to if you have a negative slope and you want to make your run go to the negative, just make sure your rise goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, because watch, it'll form the same line. When I go up 1 and then to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it's on the same line? And we're not worried about what the points are, we're worried about what the line looks like. It's just graphing a line. Raise your hand if this is so much more clear than it used to be. No
It was
hands.
already- I
Okay.
already-
Oh, you already understood this? Okay, awesome. Next question. Jocelyn, do you find this to be much easier than it used to be?
I'm trying to help her out a little bit. She doesn't understand. She said that she wants to find out the answer, and I have to, tell her that there is
I thought- Oh, okay. This is a struggle. A lot of people are going, but what are we supposed to solve for? Because we spent all of chapter 1, topic 1, solving, right? Getting like the variable by itself or solving it, getting an answer like positive 2 is the answer. Sometimes the answer is
No
a
answer.
line. If it's asking you, Lily, to graph a line, then graphing the line is your final answer. If it asks you to write an equation, that equation is your final answer. You don't have to solve for anything unless it tells you to. Okay? So we have to be okay with an answer being a line or an answer being a whole equation. It doesn't have to be one number. Yeah.
Do we have to show her work for this question then?
No, I would say no for that. Okay, next question for, whoops, what did I just do?
You just exited out.
How?
Because you hit the exit button.
Oh, I hit the exit button, okay.
I have a question. Can my
yeah.
best friend Jack right here
Yeah.
help me on a problem?
Yeah, I guess so. I need another question on, yeah, Brianna, 7 on 2.1. Okay, so the only thing with, I'm wondering, you totally understood the other one. So I'm guessing, is it the slope? Yeah, the slope is tripping you up. When you have a whole number slope, just careful of your board there. When you have a whole number slope, like -3, it's over 1. So that's your rise, and that's your run. And of course, again, Brianna, if it's negative, you can make your 3 positive and your 1 negative, and that would be fine. Okay, so exact same process, but if your slope is not a fraction, put it over 1, and that would be your run. Alea,
After this question,
I'm done with this.
can you help me with the lines now?
Number 12?
Yeah. I'm really confused.
Okay, this is doing the opposite of what we just did. Before it was giving us the equation and we were making the line. Here, they're giving us a line and we're making the equation. This is the type of problem that unfortunately I can't use your line for, so I'm gonna do this one and then I want you to make sure that you're able to do it on your own, okay? Now, it says it wants it in slope-intercept form. This is still 2.1, so we're still working in slope-intercept
Which
form.
one is this one?
What number is this?
12.
12. So we need it in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, okay? The only two things that we need to fill in are the slope and the y-LA. Only two things we need to fill in are the slope and the y-intercept. Then you write the equation as your answer. So your answer is going to be an entire equation. Okay, Jocelyn? This is number 12. So, all I need is my slope and my y-intercept. Let's have a starting point on our line. Start with your y-intercept. How do we know what the y-intercept is of a line? Alea, how do we know if I look at this line and I say, okay, well, I want to ask if you line. Can you tell me what your y-intercept is, please? And it's like, isn't it obvious? It intercepts the y-axis, obvi. So you find this point on this one. I don't know what yours looks like. On this one, your y-intercept is positive 4. It's where the line is.
No, mine doesn't have one.
It doesn't, does it maybe, is it down in the negatives? Is it down in the negatives maybe?
That we have the same graph. Oh,
Yay!
it's in the middle.
It's in the middle. Oh, it's in the origin?
No, it's like on the line.
Hold up.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm so confused right now.
Ain't no way.
Oh, that's so weird. It like, it goes, it's at 9. That's,
Question.
yeah, it crosses it, it should have extended this line. It gets a, it's a positive 9. Yes, so it doesn't give you a number, but it's between 4 and 6, so we know that's fine. Okay, unfortunately, yes, some of your lines are very mean, and it almost doesn't look like it actually intercepts it, like Alea's didn't, because it like was at 9, but it kind of like, it was like the arrow was over 9, but that's where it intercepted. Here it's 4, so I would write a 4 here, and it's positive, so I would keep my plus sign here.
It's not 4. It's
For me, it's 4. For me. Okay, I can't project your lines up here. Okay? So, now I have to find my slope. My slope is what? Rise over run. Am I rising to get to my next point?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
This looks like a negative slope to me. I'm falling. So that's going to be a negative rise. Okay? Okay? So my rise is actually going down. And you can just look at a line and see if it's going to be positive or negative, right? Don't you see, can you see here, if you were to slide on this line, you would be going downward, right? If you were to be up on the top here with slippery shoes on, you would be going downward, right? If it were a line like this and you had slippery shoes on, you wouldn't be sliding down, you could walk upwards, just be careful. Okay. So, we have a negative slope. So that means when we count to our next point, and we have to find another point where it intersects the graph at a perfect little unit intersection. We don't want to find a point like in the middle here because it's hard to read that. So yeah, at 1, 0 on the x-axis, right there, that's another point. So I would just count how to get there. My rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's rising downward. So it's negative 4 over 1, simplified to be what? Negative 4. So the equation for not yours, for this, would be y equals negative 4x plus 4. That would be mine.
Wait, where did you get negative 4?
Because I'm going from one point to my next point. And I chose that point, okay? I chose it by looking at my graph and seeing where it intersected cleanly, neatly, right in an intersection of the units, okay? And I saw that that was a good point. Another one would be down here.
So
Yeah.
mine would be 3? I got it incorrect. Or 0.
Okay, so just remember not to confuse your numbers with my numbers, okay? These numbers are for this line. I can't project your line, but maybe Faith might be able to help you. It is kind of hard to count. Make sure you're zooming in on those graphs, okay? Yes,
I don't get it. So you said the top would be 9, right?
okay.
But
And then you would have to find where your next point meets.
So it would be 3?
Here's one right here. See it intersects right there? Okay, so how would you get there? You have to go down to 6, how many is that? From 9 to 6, how many is that? From 9 to 6. Good. So you'd be going down 3 and over 1. So what slope would that be?
Wait, is that one supposed to be positive?
No,
3x plus 1?
but you went down
Negative 3x?
negative 3x plus,
1?
what was your y-intercept? 9. So you put a 9 where the y-intercept goes. Did somebody ask me if this should be a negative because my slope is negative? This should be positive because my y-intercept is positive.
So which one would be the positive one?
Over here? Okay, here's my slope. It's negative because we had to go down 4 over 1. Down is negative. But the y-intercept is positive because the point where it intercepts the y-axis is at positive 4. Do you understand why the slope is negative, but the y-intercept is positive?
Because those two are negatives.
So when I counted my rise over my run, Lily, I went down 4 over 1. Down 4 over 1. Negative 4 divided by 1 is negative 4. That is my simplified slope. Your book does not want you to write a slope like this because your book expects you to simplify a fraction if the denominator is 1. Do you guys understand? So I just simplified it. Now, Jocelyn, we have to be okay with typing in this whole thing as our answer. We're not solving for a variable. We're not solving to get just one single number. They're asking for an equation. You write the equation, okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Just like,
Yeah.
no,
The ones that
like.
on yours,
Well, because mine never goes to intersect.
it doesn't intercept the y-axis.
Oh wait, yeah. Hers crosses through to 5, but it doesn't.
So we're not looking for where it intersects the x-axis. That was just a coincidence. That was a coincidence that where my next meet and clean point. Because look at this
But if it
beautiful,
keeps
look
going-
at this beautiful spot right here where it intersects. It goes down 1 over 3. Over 3.
3, well, that's right.
No, you're not. It's hard to count. But it's good that you can zoom in. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Is it a question on 2.1? What is it?
This line 17. No, it's like the opposite. This line.
Yeah.
This one is so confusing. It's like it's the opposite way. It's like this way. It goes like that.
It has a positive slope. So it's going to be positive. That's good. Uh-oh, but the y-intercept is negative, and that's also okay. The y-intercept is negative 8. Okay, so instead of plus b, you'll write minus 8. Then we're gonna look closely and see where does this line go where it has a nice clean intersection. Right there, which coincidentally, really, does it go up 3? Look, this is negative 8. You get to 0. How do you go from negative 8 to 0? What's the difference between 8 and 0? What's the difference between 8 and 0?
Eight.
And what I'm trying to show you is that these intervals are actually not equal to, so you can -2, -4, -6, -8. Something you have to be really careful of, guys, is what Alea just discovered is sometimes your units are gonna go by 2s. If you look closely at your units, it might, your graph might go 2, 4, 6, 8, okay? So when you're counting your slope, if you're going from 8 down to 2, let's say you're going from this point down to here, you're actually doing the difference of 8 and 2, which is 6. So these 3 units would represent down 6, okay? So it's not just about counting the spaces, it's making sure you're looking at your units
Can you
also.
read it?
What?
Wait.
Yeah, I have tissues. I thought I had tissues. Are they by my desk? Okay, Emily, this problem is really confusing. I'm gonna simplify the wording of this because I don't like the way the book asked this. Okay. Guys, for number 17, I'm gonna explain this really quickly, then I gotta go to lesson 2.2, okay? I'm gonna explain this very quickly by saying, don't even read this because it's just going to confuse you. It's telling you to do it a certain way and then it doesn't give you the information that you need to do that. Never mind. It's just not worded properly. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form using 2 points. We've done this several times, but it's okay if it still feels like, what do we do first? Does anybody remember step 1? I've written it on the board a bunch of times. Step 1 would be find if you have 2 points, what can you find? The slope. Find your slope using your slope formula, which again is right here. You would do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. After you get your slope, you're gonna plug it in here. The last thing you need is your
X. Oh, sorry, not the X, the B.
yes, your b, your y-intercept. After you get your slope and it's plugged in, you're going to use that slope or plug in that slope. And what else can you plug in to solve for b? Look at the information that's given to you. What else can you use if you find out your slope, but you still need to solve for b?
You can use
One of the coordinate points. Which one should we use? Whichever one we want. Whichever one we want. Remember, that's the next step. Plug in the slope and a coordinate pair for your x and your y. Once you plug in your slope and you choose one coordinate pair to plug in for x and y, you can solve algebraically for b. Okay? I have to go on to the next homework, but this is the way you do it. You're gonna use your slope formula, I wanna erase it, slope formula first, then, here, I'll write it over here. Actually, I'll leave that there. You're gonna plug in your slope and then choose one of your points, not mine, your points, to also plug in. So you'll have this filled in, and this filled in, and you will solve algebraically for b. I'm going to 2.2 now, so raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, Teresa.
9.
9? Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought I had tissues in here. Are there no more? Are there none by my desk over there? Yeah, you can go check.
9.
Is this homework 2.0?
This is 2.2, and we're on question 9.
9. Take all of 9.
It's not loading right now.
Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah. What?
Can I use the bathroom?
You and Isabel. Yeah, where are you going? Are there no tissues there? Okay, I think I have more here. Yeah. You can take it over. Okay, are you sure you don't need help on this? Yeah, or you can watch the video later, whatever you want. It's 2.2. Write an equation, point, slope form, we just switched. We just went from 2.1 was all about slope-intercept form, which is so pretty. Now we're doing point slope form, point slop form, which is so much uglier. But it is what it is, we have to know how to write it. Here, yeah, so if we have point slope form, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You don't have to have that memorized, but you do have to know how to use it. And if you need it while you're doing your homework, go to your EOC reference sheet in your Canvas, okay? Yeah.
I got into lesson 2.2, so I can do lesson 2.2.
Oh, good.
I just had to go into the app that you were in the app instead of just Canvas.
Oh, the Sabbath one? Okay, cool. All right, so it wants the point slope form, point slope. So we need a point and we need a slope. That's
got the
all
slope.
we need to fill this in.
That's just what.
We need a point and a slope for point slope form.
Oh.
They give us 2 points. How do we find the slope?
M equals y2 minus y1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see how we're using kind of the same things over and over and over? And we can use them to get to our answers or conclusion, okay? We are given our points. We can plug them in to our slope formula. So we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Who asked me this question?
Me.
Okay, what are your points? I'm not gonna use these.
What? Oh.
I wanna use yours so you can get the right answer.
They're almost the exact same.
Well, almost is not gonna get you the right answer.
2 is the 2. Wait, it was 6.
Okay, can you
Are you
just-
talking about it like in order? Okay.
Yeah, that would help.
So negative 12 and
Okay.
8,
Okay.
and then 6 and negative 2. So I
6.
think they're literally the same. Oh wait, no, not negative 2. I'm sorry, regular 2. Yeah, they're really the exact same.
Exact same. So that's good. We have negative 12 and 8,
Yay.
6 and 2.
Yeah.
X1, Y1, X2, Y2. I probably should have just written them out anyway because they're so tiny. Yeah?
That's where I got
So
wrong.
I just did it, and I know I got the correct answer, but does the computer take a specific point as point 1?
No, it will mark either one of them correct.
It's
But
just
if you wrote something like y minus a negative number, it will mark it wrong. You didn't. If
Because
you-
they're both positive and then they turned into negatives.
Okay, I can check it for you in just a second. I just need to do this one first. Make sure you're doing it. Just follow this one first, okay? So, I'm gonna fill mine in, get my slope here, okay? So that my y2 is 2, my y1 is 8, my x2
I
is,
know why.
okay, and my x1 is negative 12. I had a feeling it was gonna be something simple. That's why I was like, I'll check it in a second. Okay, so we have 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Kill the cockroach, change the sign, and we get 18. Reduce it, and we get
1/2. Right?
1/3.
Oh, okay.
Negative 1/3. So that is my slope. Bada bing, bada boom. All I need is to fill in my point, not points. Point. It is point slope form. I don't need both of these points. So one of you get out of here. Which one's getting out of here?
Y2.
This one, I hate it, it's negative, it's gross, I don't like you, all right? I want my 6 and my 2, they're so pretty, no negatives, keep it positive, people, okay?
Why?
But we need to make sure that we're filling them in the right spots. Did these go in my X and Y, or my X1, Y1?
X1, 1, Y1.
Good. Even though it says X2, Y2, we don't need to call them that anymore. We're just
Doesn't
doing that
matter.
for our slope. Now that's our one specific point. So our 2 is our Y value, so that's gonna go in for our Y1. Y minus positive 2 equals negative 1/3 times x minus positive 6. And that's done. The good news is we didn't have to kill any cockroaches and change any signs.
Well-
That's it.
Yeah. That.
Well, I mean, at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just answered a question and it's like,
Telling you that it's wrong.
yeah, but it's like actually right.
Okay, so
Yes.
We need-
it's possible, or it might be something that's just a tiny bit wrong and it's not written the right way, so we might have to just take a look at it. Keep it open, I will handle that in just a minute, even if I have to write you a late pass, okay?
I need solve for part 2.
Oh, is there a part 2?
There's two. There's
Yeah,
two
there
parts.
is.
Oh, you just need to.
What does it say?
It says, what is the slope-intercept with the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line?
So the slope-intercept would be,
Yes, there is.
okay, okay, so you type this in and it's giving you part 2 now, right?
Yes.
So now it wants it in slope-intercept form?
Yes, of the equation.
Okay, so how do we get slope-intercept form? We need our slope. We just did this, it's 2.1. Okay, it's less than 2.1. So we get our slope, which is exactly the same, right? Guys, slope-intercept form has the same slope, y equals negative 1 over 3. Now we need our y-intercept. How do we get our how do we get our y-intercept?
It's
How do we get our y-intercept? We have to solve.
negative 2,
We
right?
solved it.
Or 2,
You do it. You just do it like this.
right? Can't you just take the 2 and that can be the y? And then
So-
it's got.
You can plug in one of your points and solve for B. Remember, that's what we just did all through lesson 2.1 when we were working on those homeworks. We can take,
This is so confusing.
it is what it is. We're just practicing and practicing. I could have gone on to 2.3 today and we could have started learning standard form, which is a whole different form.
I would have failed this class.
Okay, so we're looking at this and we're gonna stay positive. Get it? Positive, okay? All right, so remember, we can solve for B if we just had something to plug in for our any points. Any points on the line, well, hey, take any of those points. Take your positive ones, plug them in, and solve for B. Plug them in. 6 equals negative 1/3 times x, which
Two.
is, I'm sorry, whoops, I put them in the wrong order.
It's
So
two.
my 2 is my y, and then my
6.
6 is
You
over
would
here.
know.
I caught my mistake before you guys did. You didn't get your
Yes, I
answer.
did.
I caught it for you.
Nice.
All right, cancel, and I have 2 equals negative 2 plus b plus 2 plus 2, b equals 4. So here is,
You made a mistake. No, I'm kidding.
okay.
Wait, so the answer is
If these are your coordinate points, that's your answer.
Thank you.
Wait, I have a question that I want to go over.
Okay.
Question
Uno. Number uno. Numero.
Write an equation. Okay.
Wait.
Bo, it gives you the slope and a point. Can you plug it into point slope form?
What?
This is number 1.
Oh, I'm still working.
The slope, it says m equals 3, guess what? M is the slope. It says the given slope m. M equals 3. You plug in a 3 for m. You take your point and you put it in to point slope form. The 4 goes in your y1. It's a positive 4. And your negative 7 goes in here, and it's y minus 4 equals 3 times x minus a negative 7. Kill the cockroach, change the sign, it's x plus 7. Y minus 4 equals 3 times x plus 7.
So the answer is
The answer is it's literally what just came out of my mouth and what I put on here. Okay, I'm sorry to rush, but I want to get to
couldn't understand it because it was like m equals 3.
m equals 3.
I know.
M is the slope, remember?
I know my brain like shut
Yeah.
off like 5 minutes.
How lowercase c?
Is that a lowercase?
Like the x one.
This, no, this is killing the cockroach, changing the sign. Okay, next question on 2.2. Are we done?
I'm still in number 9, the second part, I put in 1, 2,
Number 9? Did I work it out on the board?
Yes, but I was like looking at it too, and it's like, I don't know how y'all know.
Okay. Oh, the one that we just did with Grayson? Wasn't this?
He didn't understand the second part.
No, the second part, I did it, it just got, I got it.
Okay.
wrong. I don't know
Did you
how.
did you put in what I put on the board?
No, because I was like, oh, he's yours.
Oh, you don't have these numbers?
No.
Oh.
I used my own numbers. but-
Okay, what are your numbers?
So.
Where did I get the 7?
3, 5.
Because it said that your point was -7, +4. That's where I got the 7 though. Okay, what were your points?
-3, 5. And then 9, 1.
Okay. What did you get as your slope?
I like to.
1 minus 5, that's -4. 9 minus
I got
-3 is 12. That's correct. -1/3 is the correct slope. Good job. So now,
I used,
wait, are you, just remind me, so we're doing this in slope-intercept form, right? Yeah.
Point.
Is this, hold on. Is this the right question? Number 9 on 2.2, right? It says write the equation in write equation point slope form of the line, then write it in slope-intercept form.
yeah,
Okay.
part 2.
So you're on part 2. Okay, so we have our slope. So we have y equals.
Oh, equation. Oh.
Okay, is that where it was? Okay. We are ready to pack up and go. Thanks. Could you end my video, please? Or Natalie, if you could do it, that'd be great. Thank you.